Back to the ship!
Have you ever wanted to deploy stormtroopers to a planet's surface but didn't need the full 50 to 75 that a Sentinel shuttle can carry? Is the TIE Reaper too expensive for your unit to afford? Are you tired of being laughed at by the rebel scum when you show up in a TIE lander? Then the Imperial Transport might be for you. It's the compact car of landing craft. It can do it all. It can land troops on the ground. It can carry them away again. It can even explode. Get one from your nearest Imperial Requisitions office today. I'm Joey from Radio Free Coruscant, and this is the history of the Imperial Transport.
Nice shot. I was aiming for the other one.
Imperial Transport. The Imperial Transport was a wedge-shaped landing craft used by the Empire to deploy small numbers of troops to the ground. It was first introduced in The Mandalorian Season 2, but it has also been seen in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series and some comics as well. It measures 14 meters long, 3.9 meters tall, and 8.2 meters wide. It is allegedly able to carry 36 stormtroopers, but the larger First Order lander we will see later can only carry 20 troops, so I think any scene depicting the Imperial Transport disgorging 36 people has perhaps taken some creative liberties. They would have to be packed in like sardines. It is unknown if it required a pilot or if that duty was fulfilled by one of the stormtroopers on board, and it was armed with 2 twin laser cannons. We don't have any additional lore or technical information on it other than what we can see on screen. We don't even know what its real in-universe name is. We can guess that it was built by Kuat Drive Yards or Sinar Fleet Systems, the primary vehicle manufacturers of the Empire, but that's about it. Hopefully, the upcoming Dawn of the Rebellion visual guide by Pablo Hidalgo will touch on it, since that book will feature things from Kenobi and Andor, which this transport appears in. Speaking of Andor, Imperial Prison Transport. The Imperial Prison Transport is a variant of the Imperial Transport that was modified to carry prisoners. It was slightly longer than the original, had a sealed-off rear compartment for the pilot, and was unarmed. It also had small windows behind the passenger seats so that they could receive a few last moments of natural light, an unusual courtesy by Imperial standards, and it also had a hyperdrive. It could carry 20 prisoners in bench seats facing each other on the sides of the ship. These transports were commonly used to bring new prisoners to Narkina-type prison factories. It is unknown how many of these prisons existed, but there were several of them on Narkina 5 alone, so IPT pilots stayed busy. Atmospheric Assault Lander. The Imperial Transport remained in use by the Imperial Remnant for many years after the fall of the Empire, but it was really showing its age by the time they organized into the First Order. Thus, a new landing craft was designed, the Atmospheric Assault Lander, also known as the AAL 1971/9.1 Troop Transport. This unwieldily named ship was built by Sinar Jamus Army Systems. It measured 17.8 meters long, 3.7 meters tall, and about 6 meters wide. It could carry 20 stormtroopers and had a crew of 2, a pilot and a gunner. It could also carry 2 tread speeder bikes or similarly sized vehicles. The AAL was armed with one F-70 anti-personnel blaster cannon on the roof. The pilot sat in a small cupola above the craft, from which he could see the entire landing zone, though there were also less precise secondary controls inside the troop cabin. It had 4 ion engines that could propel it to a maximum speed of 900 km per hour or 559 miles per hour. The AAL was also equipped with 2 headlights and a powerful searchlight, which could also be used to dazzle enemies in its landing zone. The AAL was inspired by the real-world vehicle called the LCVP, or Higgins boat. The Higgins boat was a landing craft used by the United States Navy and other Allied navies in World War II. It measured 11 meters long and 3.4 meters wide, and could carry 36 troops. I guess 30 troops on the Imperial Transport isn't so far-fetched after all. It was armed with two 30 caliber machine guns and could travel at a top speed of 22 kilometers per hour or 14 miles per hour. Its crew consisted of a coxswain, an engineer, a bowman, and a sternman. The Higgins boat was most famous for its use at D-Day, where 839 of the 1,089 LCVPs in existence at the time were used to ferry troops to the beaches of Normandy. Each boat would unload its 36 soldiers and then return to its transport ship to collect some more. Sith Transporter. Late in the First Order Resistance War, Salino Jameis Army Systems created an updated version of the AAL known as the AAL 2100/9.5 Atmospheric Assault Lander. It was used exclusively by the Sith Eternal cult on Exegol. It was essentially the same as the AAL 1971, but the tall, exposed cockpit was removed and the pilot was moved inside the craft. All AAL 2100s were presumed destroyed in the Battle of Exegol. The Imperial Transport and First Order AAL bring a much-needed sense of practicality to the villains of the Star Wars universe. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of these ships. If you did, please subscribe and share the channel with your friends. Maybe leave a comment to suggest what topic you'd like to see next. That concludes this week's broadcast of Radio Free Coruscant. See you later.